In this episode, we're looking back over the past 4 years at Peake ReLeaf. Ever since Peake opened their doors, they've been an independent, community-driven, patient-focused dispensary. And ensuring community is at the heart of everything they do is paramount to them. So let's take a look back at the past 4 years with Peake ReLeaf. Let's start at the beginning. What was involved in the process of building Peake ReLeaf?
To quote Nate, one of our executive vice presidents and founders, from an interview he did with the National Cannabis Festival, opening a dispensary was challenging but equally rewarding. It's impossible to explain how difficult it is to start a business in a brand new, heavily regulated industry. We even had problems with our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers in the middle of the permitting process. But thankfully, Nate and our other founders, Warren and Tracy, were able to handle those issues and move forward, eventually leading to our first community event.
Appreciate you guys all coming. On behalf of the whole Peake ReLeaf team, thank you again. My name is Tracy Miller, and I am the Executive Vice President of Peake ReLeaf. We are really excited to be able to have this first community event with all of you guys here today.
This has been a very long journey, and then obviously the medical marijuana legislation took some years to get through and get right, and needed to be tweaked today to get to this day. So Warren, Tracy, and the whole team. I do have a Senate citation, and forgive in advance the puns that were a little irresistible. But this is a citation from the Senate of Maryland, presented to Peake ReLeaf. It's high time that medical marijuana should be accessible in Rockville. Congratulations on the grand opening of your budding dispensary.
The Bethesda Chamber, we have a certificate as well. It says, Greater Bethesda Chamber of Commerce welcomes and congratulates Peake ReLeaf at their grand opening celebration on May 11th, 2018, and for making our community a better place to work, live, and play. Signed by our current chair, Brian Wynn, and our president and CEO, Jim.
Thank you. I really appreciate all the kind words. I must admit, all the certificates is a very welcome, unexpected surprise. So I really appreciate all the kind words from Vikram and Senator Kagan and you as well, Lori. This couldn't happen today without the help of everyone from the Chamber of Commerce from Rockville and Bethesda. I'm very happy that the city of Rockville has welcomed us as much as they have, been willing to work with us and have us get to the point right where we are right now, where we can actually open our doors and begin to service the community that I actually grew up in. It's a really neat thing to come back to the space where I am right now. My children go to my same schools, and I can actually really begin to relieve the community of some of these conditions that they're suffering. Well, this is a moment. Yeah.
You guys get a little close together? Keep going. A little bit. Keep going.
Oh yeah, they did.
All right. Ready? We got the 3. 1, 2, 3.
For those that are unfamiliar with Peake ReLeaf, can you give us a brief tour?
We believe that as soon as you step through our doors, you should feel welcomed. And that feeling should continue from the lobby and reception to when you check out with your medicine. That's been our mission since we first opened, and we've worked really, really hard to make sure that's always been the case. Here is our processing room. It serves more than a few functions, all of which are equally important for the day-to-day at Peake. First, we receive and build online and call-ahead orders for our patient community right here. We weigh all of our flower to order so we can maintain our high-quality control standards for everyone in our patient community.
Tell us about some of the community initiatives Peake ReLeaf has been involved with over the years.
Over the years, we've been privileged to be a part of many different community initiatives. These have included our Clean Slate Expungement Clinic events, neighborhood cleanups, campaigning for patient rights during lobby days in Annapolis, partnering with organizations like Equipment Connections for Children and the Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless, supporting social equity programs, bringing more cannabis education resources to our patients, and much, much more.
A lot of it has to do with the administrative effort that goes into it. Veterans struggle, daily, sometimes even make it to their own medical appointments with some of their issues and some of their disabilities. So a lot of the expungement has to do with access to communications and capabilities that they just may not have, These guys.
Yeah, I can speak personally, and, I've always, this has always been something that's been important to me. But it really came to a head when we were getting involved, and I was personally testifying for some of the adult use legislature that was introduced last year. And as Kevin mentioned, there was this discussion. A lot of these bills actually had automatic expungement included in them originally. And as he kind of addressed, there was a lot of discussion about automatic expungement, it being too expensive. There was a lot of discussions behind the reasons of this expense, which, there's a lot of miscommunication or lack of communication entirely with certain databases that, our court systems use. And, our police system doesn't necessarily communicate to our court system. And, they kind of would stress the fact that these systems not communicating properly was one of the main reasons that, automatic expungement would be such a large obstacle or a large project to tackle.
That's why I'm really excited, about this clinic to really be able to provide that level of support to our communities. And I think that, one of the really cool things too about our partnership is you and I have talked about this before, the geographic reach that we can have between our two, patient populations. I know that there's a lot of people who travel all over the state to obtain their medicine, but, kind of with the spread that we have, I'm really excited to just see how we can kind of grow this and make this reach further and further out into the Maryland patient community.
Totally. I think that is one of the best things about our partnership, just the geographic reach and demographical reach that we can have between our two stores. So I think that's awesome.
And lastly, one thing I would definitely stress for everybody that's watching, if you are, picking up your medicine from a dispensary, if you have a favorite company, don't be afraid to ask them what they're doing to help the community. Don't be afraid to ask for a level of transparency and accountability in terms of what they're doing. If they're willing to accept your money, then they can accept your suggestions on how to improve, their placement in the community, their relationship with the community that they're a part of, and, communities that they, serve, and how they can do that better. So I would encourage everyone to, don't be shy in asking for more expungement clinics, for more veteran outreach initiatives, for more homelessness alleviation, for helping food drives, for whatever the case may be, for campaigning for more patient rights. Whatever is important to you in relation to this industry, there's a place for it, and there's a place for a business that exists in this industry to be a part of.
Over the years, we've seen the Inside the Industry web series grow. How has that become such an important part of Peake ReLeaf?
We've also had the opportunity to bring our patients even closer to the medical cannabis industry with our Inside the Industry series, something that this video is a part of. The Inside the Industry series was created with bringing a greater level of transparency to the cannabis industry here in Maryland. Thank you to everybody that is watching. We're joined today with Senator Feldman, as well as the president of Peake ReLeaf, Warren Lemley, and we're going to be discussing cannabis legalization here in Maryland, and just going over a few questions that are really pertinent to our patient community and their interests. Our first question. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. Just as a reminder, Relief Reset, there's going to be a series of educational webinars that will serve as a starting point for those who are new to medical cannabis or curious about becoming a patient, or just really need a refresher on how medical cannabis can be used to achieve their future of wellness.
But honestly, greenhouses were just starting to come about in Colorado when we actually did our application here in Maryland. And so in many of my tours here at SubMed, what they're doing is absolutely impressive. The amount of thought and care that goes into their automation and to sort of engineering and agricultural mindset out there is really awesome. And so I'd like to just hear a little bit more about SubMed's backstory, and then we'll hear a little bit more personally about what you do.
And Peake ReLeaf would be nothing without the amazing staff that have been here over the years since we've opened. We appreciate every single person in our community that has supported us and allowed us to be their medicine provider. And we look forward to many, many, many more years of Peake ReLeaf and of being a part of this community.